Hello, and welcome to Reasons for Rose podcast. We are so happy to have you here for episode number 4. Reasons for Rose is a place where we discuss all things culture, lifestyle, and relationships. My name is T-Bells, and I'm joined by my co-host, Lauren.
What are we talking about today?
Well, the first thing I wanted to do was to bring up last week's episode 3. I know that it's a little bit controversial, and it doesn't help that Cardi B released her new song Up, and she touches on some of the topics that we touched on last week. I do want to say that we will be addressing some of the questions, some of the controversy that was brought up in that episode, but we're hoping to have a male's perspective added to that. So all the men that, weren't too happy with some of the things that were said, you will get your chance to voice your opinion. Okay. So you hit us up if you want to get that chance to join us and have that discussion. But today we are moving on to something else, a different topic for today.
That's right, guys. Today we're going to be talking about social media, thirst trapping, micro cheating. Lots to get into with this topic. We have lots of challenges all over Instagram and TikTok. We have silhouette challenge, busted challenge. So sit tight and grab a drink so we can get right into this tea and get into our opinions, and let us know what you think of the topics, as you always do. We do listen to the feedback. Please feel free to let us know what you're thinking. And if you have any topics in mind that you feel would be something worthwhile to talk about on the episodes, let us know. We're always open for that as a podcast. And we're going to get right into today's topic. So, topic for today essentially is going to be all social media, everything social media. We're going to start with a very quick definition. This one's from Urban Dictionary, but I mean, why not? Because it's an urban social media phrase that everyone's using and it's very contemporary. So, what's a thirst trap? Before I give you the definition, T, what do you consider a thirst trap to be?
A thirst trap would be when you are putting out content to get a certain reaction, and the reaction is kind of most of the time some type of sexual positive response. That's my guess. That's my guess.
Yes, a sexual positive response. All right. So I feel like, it's along the same lines. My opinion of a thirst trap is someone who is looking to garner attention from the opposite sex for their ego. That's what I would have thought. This isn't an official definition, but according to Urban Dictionary, a thirst trap is a sexy photograph or flirty message posted on social media with the intent of causing others to publicly profess their attraction, not actually to respond or to satisfy those reactions though, but just to feed the poster's ego or need for attention at the expense of the time, reputation, and sexual frustration of those who view the image and reply. So with that being said,
so hold on a second. So it's only a thirst trap if your audience is frustrated that they can't make it a reality, their lust for you.
I mean, it says here that it's with the intent of causing others to publicly profess their attraction. So it's all about, let me see how much comments I can bring in with this post. How much validation will this post attract and garner into my inbox, DMs, and on the comment section, right? Now, this is now a form of currency in this day and age. If any of you guys have ever had a professional dashboard, made your Instagram a professional account, you will see that there's a whole new category of Instagram that you're missing out on if you've never tried making your account professional. You can see the interactions of your account postings according to how many comments, how many likes you've received on a post, and how many times your post has been shared or saved by users on the same platform as you. This is currency because brands are actually completely invested in acquiring people who have a great audience to further their brand's goals, right? According to digitalmarketinginstitute.com, 86% of women use social media for purchasing advice, and 70% of teenagers trust influence. Furthermore, Fashion Nova has literally more than 6 times over increased their public branding through acquiring women to repost their brand, their clothing in a thirst trap type of shot. So titty shots, ass shots, swimsuits, bikinis, anything that's showing the woman's body in a provocative way in their clothes has been used in their branding, and they will repost you if you hashtag them with the right look. So
So
now
let's
that that's a currency.
imagine someone out there does not know what an influencer is. How would you describe what an influencer is? You kind of
Well,
did a little bit, but
I mean, the thing with it being an influencer is you're just somebody who's pretty much posting. I mean, what's an influencer? At this point, if you are listening to the podcast, I don't know how you don't know what an influencer is. Essentially, an influencer is just someone with a lot of followers. It's really that simple, to be honest, because the currency of social media is how much engagement you have on your page, how many people are posting, reposting, sharing, and following you. So, an influencer is just a person with a lot of followers, which is why thirst traps are heavily dependent on to bring in more attention, to bring in lots of eyes on you, and to get more followers, right?
okay.
What would you consider an influencer to be?
Well, I feel that there's different genres of influencers, right? So there's fashion influencers, there are the health conscious influencers, but overall, it's people who have enough pull or enough influence to sell things. And I think that's how you garner that title. But it's interesting to think about how they are different than the traditional celebrity, which is what you had said with your statistic that teenagers trust influencers more than the traditional celebrity.
Exactly. And again, influencers are actually helping brands grow a lot more than traditional marketing where Kate Moss is wearing their perfume or their ring. Like that whole style of marketing has pretty much become not obsolete, but it's definitely not the same as um having maybe a person who has a big fan base. Now, this is the situation I have that I want to question. Someone like Megan the Stallion, someone like Cardi B, someone like, um, hmm, do you have anyone in mind, a celebrity who's popping right now? Mm, who would you consider a popping celebrity? I'm only thinking of the black rappers. I need to think of someone else, but I have no one in my head right now.
A celebrity or an influencer?
No, a celebrity girl who's really big on social media, like Hailey Bieber,
Hmm.
right? Like, because what I'm trying to allude to here is, do celebrities cross over and become influencers? Because a lot of celebrities use social media heavily to promote not only their music, not only their brand, but they promote themselves as a human being, and they open up their lives a lot on social media, on YouTube, on Instagram, as a way to connect with their fans, and they do actually have huge followings. So yes, they are celebrities, but where do we draw the line between celebrity and influencer? Because they're still different. You as an influencer aren't going to the Met Gala,
Mhm.
right? But you as Meg the Stallion with, 8.2 million subscribers or whatever she has, you still technically would qualify as an influencer based on just your numbers and the amount of engagement you have on social media postings,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So, are influencers comparable to actors and rappers and music artists?
I love the idea of an influencer because it's really about finding the person that you relate to most. And I feel like there's power in that. As a consumer,
Mhm.
feel like it's so great that there's so many different options of people that I can subscribe to. I think it's a very interesting place to be in right now because there is the, as I said before, the traditional idea of celebrity where you're a star and you're not accessible and we're not supposed to be able to relate to you. And the artists that are coming from that old school version of marketing, such as Beyonce or even Rihanna, they have not subjected themselves to becoming influencers. They have actually taken influencers as a middle, I guess, trying to create a middle ground. So Rihanna, with her Savage Fenty show, she chose a lot of people who are influencers. Even her choreographer, Paris, is very much a influencer in the dance community. And she had different people in her fashion show that I recognize from TikTok. And now with Beyonce's Ivy Park, she has Hailey Bieber as one of the models of
Mhm.
the new line that she's putting out, and I have no
Mhm.
idea who Hailey Bieber is. I know she's Justin Bieber's wife, but I have no idea. So again, that influencer is not for me. She's not going to help me or help me make the decision to buy Beyonce's clothing. But I'm sure Beyonce was very calculated in choosing Hailey Bieber to sell her new line.
Mhm. Well, that's the thing. Are influencers comparable to actors and people in the music industry? Are they really one and the same at this point? Where do we draw the line?
Does a line need to be drawn? For example, um, would you prefer would you prefer to get your information and it's kind of hard to say, but do you prefer to be influenced by a celebrity who you don't relate to, that you don't know anything about, you don't know their personality, as opposed to a so-called influencer who has let you in to the life that they want you to see?
For instance, look at Doja Cat. She's another great example. She is a celebrity. These people can perform for, award shows. So at that point, to me, you're a celebrity. However, I mean, Doja Cat is very active on TikTok and on Instagram Live, and she goes on live and she does interact with her fans. So to me, you're a celebrity, but you still come across very much like an influencer. So with these stats about teenagers trusting influencers more than celebrities, I feel like celebrities are leaning in towards becoming very influencer like. They realize they now have to engage with their audience. It's not the way it was before, as you said earlier. So I think the lines are starting to become blurry,
Mm-hmm.
right? So with that being said, as a regular person who's currently not in the music industry, as a person who's not with, 10K plus followers, what's okay for me and what's not okay for me to post, right? If someone like Lala Anthony decides to post the Busset challenge, like Jordan Woods or Lala Anthony, as I said, will they be looked at as thirsty? Would that still be considered a thirst trap versus a woman next door who posts the Busset challenge or the silhouette challenge? And furthermore, let's say now you're in a relationship. If if you were Angelina Jolie and you're married to Brad Pitt, if you made out with a guy for a movie screening, for a movie recording, a film, you would just say, that's part of the job, babe. I have to kiss this guy. I got to make out. That's in the script, right? But now, as a celebrity or as an influencer, you can post provocative things and say, I'm doing it for my brand. I'm doing it to build my following. So when do we get to determine who's allowed to do what and get away with it and not be judged versus be judged? Because I don't think anyone looks at influencers and judges them the same critical way that they would judge the girl next door posting the same exact thing. But I feel like there's that weird line that's being crossed now where everyone feels like becoming an influencer is very possible for them. So they might do things that once upon a time would be considered very provocative, but now it's just kind of like that's what's trendy and it's fine to do it. It's okay to be naked and do the silhouette challenge because everyone's doing it on Instagram anyway. I just want to have some fun. But I mean, you couldn't make out with a guy and say, I'm doing it like it's not the same anymore. I feel like lines are being blurred as an influencer right now for what's acceptable for the regular people to do and what's acceptable for influencers to do.
Yes, the lines are getting blurred, but I do feel that any professional person is aware of branding. And so, you know, there's all this controversy about Chloe Bailey, who I think she's 21.
Yes.
I don't know much. I don't know much about her, but I do know that many people were surprised to see her doing the Busset Challenge.
Right.
She was showing a different side of her that many people had not seen, and I don't know if people were expecting that, and I don't know if I don't know how that's going to affect her brand. But she obviously, in doing that Busset Challenge, has made a decision that she wants to introduce sex appeal into her brand.
Right.
And
But remember, she's a part of a group. She's Chloe Bailey is a part of Chloe and Halle, a singing group.
yes, but the other sister is not
Hmm.
doing the same things that Chloe is doing.
Right. So she's making a unanimous decision for her brand, but she's a part of a brand that's not just with her. Like it's a duo. So what Chloe Bailey does impact Chloe and Halle as a brand.
But she participated in this challenge, and now they're breaking up, they're separating as a group.
Well, well, the thing is they do separate gigs already. Like I think the sister is doing the Little Mermaid, I believe. She's the voice actor on Little Mermaid. So they do separate gigs, but they aren't actually going to separate music careers.
Mm-hmm.
But they do separate work, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, Chloe Bailey has the right. Like based on what I'm seeing, someone like her posting the Busset challenge is the same as another, person in the spotlight doing it. But now what if you see your next door neighbor doing it?
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I say it's everything is not for everyone. And so Chloe Bailey did it, and it is controversial. People have polarized opinions about it. And so she is not like everyone else because people did not see that as part of her branding.
Right. But I mean, she's still someone in the spotlight. It's not like she's a regular person or something. She's already an entertainer. So I feel like entertainers get passes that regular people don't. You're an entertainer. You know what I'm saying? You can go on stage in a bra and a panty and make it fashion. A regular person couldn't do that. It would never there wouldn't be a debate about was it fashion? Did she make it fashion? If your thong was out in a backless dress, like that would just be considered you're a thought
Mm.
for a regular girl. But as an entertainer, you're allowed to be a lot more risque. Whether it's a part of your brand or not, that's questionable, of course. But I mean, now there's the blurred lines of who's an entertainer, who's not, who gets to do the more risque things and not be judged for it, and who's a thought.
I think that anyone who's doing risky things or risque things is going to be judged. And once you put yourself out there doing a sexualized challenge, um, I would have to question is what purpose does that serve other than a self-indulgent purpose? And so, which is fine. Like it's very good to look at yourself and like what you see and celebrate that. So there's nothing wrong with it. But if you do that and you post it, um, it is very much ego serving, and we all do it. So it's not we all do it in some sort of aspect. You know, it may not be posting our bodies. It could be posting a meal that we made and we're really proud of it. Or it could be that we, you know, we bought a new car and we got it it has all the nice features and we take a picture of it. So there's different ways that we are serving our ego in the things that we post on social media. But
Okay.
you know, we have our I'm trying to Jagmeet Singh is what is his role? Jagmeet Singh
He's an NDP leader.
is an MP.
And yeah, okay.
He's an MP and he's very active on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
But he certainly does not participate in the sexualized challenges.
Okay. But
He
he's not an entertainer.
but we're talking about influencers. He's technically
Right.
an influencer.
But he's not an entertainer. So that's the difference, right? So as an entertainer, do you get a pass? So all of this to say this. There has been recent backlash for the whole silhouette challenge. A couple of things that have happened is, first of all, the internet has found a way to remove the red filter and thereby show things that people didn't necessarily want to be exposed. Some people recorded naked, some people wore a bra and panty, and after a couple edits, you can see their whole body in a bra and panty or possibly naked. There's a woman who posted the silhouette challenge and she was dumped over it. Her man left her and said, "No woman of mine will do this." And she said, "I'm just trying to have fun. It's all over Instagram. You like those posts. I've seen you liking girls' posts in the silhouette challenge. Why can't I do that?" So is he insecure or is she out of order?
Mm-hmm.
If men are consistently engaging with these thirst trap posts, these busted challenges, leaving googly eyes and silhouette challenges, like reposting and sharing, why now when the girl next door does it, does she get called a thought? I guess my hypothesis is because we are not entertainers. Because he can like Beyonce posting that. If she posted it, of course, everyone's going to get a little bit of hate for sure, no doubt. But as an entertainer, you get some passes that a regular person wouldn't get.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think that there are passes for people who are not in entertainment. I think that the appeal of the challenges that are circulating is that anyone can do them. You can do the challenge and share it with just your friends and you guys can all have a laugh. And then, you know, there are people who are doing the challenges and they're going viral because they're making it uh comedic or they're doing a parody of the challenges. And so that, in my opinion, is what is the appeal and what is the popularity of the challenges. And so if it is a so-called thirst trapping challenge, I feel like whatever negative connotation that would apply to an entertainer would also apply to a layperson or someone who's not in the industry.
Well,
And
I mean, I don't think Jordan Woods got dumped after she posted her busted challenge. She's with Carl Towns right now. He's a player on the NBA team. But a regular guy might break up with his girlfriend and say, "You're embarrassing. Why are you posting that?" So, like, do you think he was insecure for breaking up with his girlfriend after she posted a silhouette challenge?
I think that every relationship should set boundaries. And that if her doing that is outside of the boundaries that he feels is appropriate for their relationship, that's their situation. I don't think that that's a general application. And I don't know if he's insecure. I don't know what his motivation was behind that. But at the end of the day, she should be happy because if she thought that doing the challenge was a harmless action, then she's better off finding someone who will want to participate in challenges with her. There's this whole thing on social media of girlfriends forcing their boyfriends to participate in challenges that
Yeah.
they don't want to participate in. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe she's better off because she could find a boyfriend that will be very proud of her and happy for her doing those things. And I do think that there are relationships like that where a boyfriend would be like, you go girl, you got 400 likes on that. So it all depends.
Okay. So some questions for you. Do you feel like there's pressure to appear single on social media?
I feel like that's very much, again, part of your brand. So if your brand is a family-oriented brand, so if you are similar to Ciara and her husband, who their entire online persona is based on, we have a family and you can have this family too, and we're happy. That's their whole brand. And that's also the brand of, for example, Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert. So there's a whole bunch of people that have that brand. And as a matter of fact, I feel like that's the way we're moving with influencers, where it's this, you can have it all. You can have a career, you can have a good personal life, and you can have a family. Whereas before, again, the traditional way of marketing was to appear single. It was very important for not for anyone to know your relationship status. So to answer your question, I would say that it's actually the opposite, where people are encouraged to show their relationships because it is part of the millennial emphasis on, you can have it all. You can do everything and be great at it.
Well, according to a lot of women, they do say that once they post their boyfriends, their follower counts drop and their engagement on photos drop. That's what women typically find from my experience from talking to friends and talking to the boyfriends of girls. They say, like, once she posted me, she says that guys started moving a little different. Maybe she stopped getting the DMs, things like that, which is normal. I think that's good. They respect the relationship, but women may feel a little hesitant to do that because, like, overall it's less engagement for her on her social media brand if she has hopes of being an influencer, right? I mean, on the contrary, men actually find that if they do post their partner, they typically get more engagement and more DMs from women interested in them. It seems that men find that when they claim a woman on their social media platform, women all of a sudden take more interest in getting to know them. Is that surprising?
Uh, it's surprising. It's surprising.
I'm not. I mean, I find that extremely disturbing.
You find it disturbing that women like to see men with girlfriends, but men
And
don't like
then
to see
slide in their
women with
DMs.
girlfriends with boyfriends.
Yeah, once like to think, oh, ooh, he has a girl. Dang, I should go talk to him. Let me go check on him. How is he doing? You wait till the man is in a relationship to start wanting to get to know him. Dang. That's what a few men have told me, and I'm a little surprised, but I've heard it enough times to be like, okay, interesting. I do know for sure girls, they find that like they'll lose a little bit of, they won't get the same amount of likes after they start posting guys on their page, anyone they're dating. It typically is bad for them in terms of like male engagement for sure.
Is it a representation issue? For example, there are so many of these pages on Instagram about Black love, interracial love, that I
Hmm.
can't stand.
Oh, you can't stand it.
I cannot stand it. But there are so many of these um, Instagram pages and a lot of YouTube channels dedicated to that. So is it an issue of representation where women like to see a man um, show off his woman because it's a reminder that one of those exists?
Yeah, I think there's a market for that. That's the single women who are a little maybe sad or trying to stay hopeful. There's a shout out to the page on Instagram called Me and Somebody's Son. That page I follow. It took me a while to get on board, but I was like, okay, it's cute. I'll follow.
Yeah, those
But
are
it
so
does keep the
strange.
hope alive.
Those pages are so strange to me.
No. Because you know why? This is what it is. Posting a partner on social media has become a business. There's lots of YouTube channels and Instagram channels where couples are always posting together. They do pranks on one another. That's a new brand in itself where families are posting themselves, their kids, their day-to-day life, their vlogmases for Christmas time, which are Christmas blogs. So that is a brand in itself of couple accounts where people can live vicariously through that couple. Maybe you're a little lonely, you're a little single, and you're kind of like living your dream through that couple. You
You
envision yourself as that woman
you
or
know the
that
funny
man.
thing? You know the funny thing? Like, I'm not living vicariously through other people, but shout out to Meet the Mitchells family, Wayne Marshall and Tammy Chin, because I watched that show like it is the Brady Bunch and the Grimwald family that's based in England. So
Mm,
I need to evaluate. Yeah, so that Grimwald family, they have like 6 children. They are just awesome. So
mm.
I need to evaluate what part of my psyche is being stimulated by these shows,
Yes.
because I do watch the family shows. I do love all the shows that have the children in them, but I do not like the Instagram pages of like the couple pages. But yeah,
Really? Because I watched Dem and Ika. Dimitri and Ika are from Big Brother Canada. And
yeah, I know.
I have stand them so hard. I show all my friends. I'm like, they are so cute together. I actually met Ika in real life. She's from Thornhill. Um, and she's so sweet. And I just feel like they're such a cute couple and they have such good hearts. And I just find myself so drawn into them. And I just
Shout out to them because they just bought their.
shout out to them.
I did
Yeah,
watch
they
them buy their house.
oh, see, they just bought a house too. And it's like, oh my God. And I feel like I know them, but I don't know them.
Right.
It's like this familiarity, but they're a stranger. And I think that's what influencers all try to achieve. It's like you want people to feel like they know you, but of course they don't know. And it's a little scary because when things start to crumble, not to wish any bad on anyone, but if things start to crumble, there's a lot of backlash. Like De'Ara and Ken, Aaliyah J and her boyfriend. Aaliyah J and her man just got back together. And a lot of people say to them, you know what? Aaliyah J, at least, you are a makeup influencer before you're a relationship brand. Stop worrying about your relationship. Stop putting it out on social media. And people start to ask a lot of questions when the relationship brand starts to fall apart. If it falls apart, God forbid, now you have to post a video on why me and so broke up. How invasive is that?
Do you feel like we are owed an explanation?
It's like, you know what? I don't believe that. But then I feel like people are so entitled. And because you put it out there, now you have to suffer the reactions. Because I mean, even there's even this big stigma of like, oh, I'm not posting no man till he's my husband, right? Like, and I am starting to subscribe to that mentality. Growing up, I used to post my man shamelessly. Like I was that girl, like, yes, me and my best friend, me and my boo, I love him. And now I'm like, you know what? The trauma of taking down those posts when the relationship fails is a little too much for me. People be like, girl, what happened to your man? Oh my God, are you okay? Because I'll see the post. I used to post subliminals of the breakup. I was doing the most on Instagram. So people start asking what happened, and you feel a little obligated because I mean, they see the posts are gone, they see the pictures are gone, you wiped your Instagram clean, and you feel a little dumb,
And
right?
and you really shouldn't feel dumb. I do not feel like that's something to be ashamed of, because you cannot go into love with the fear that something's going to go wrong.
See, no, nobody's saying that,
But
but
how can you
we.
feel shame? How could you feel shame or embarrassment because you posted someone who was very important to your life at the time and you had to take them down later?
Why do you feel ashamed? Because it's another moment of failure that you're publicly sharing with the world. Nobody wants to share their failure with the world. Just like anyone on Biggest Loser who lost 100 plus pounds, a lot of them have gained the weight back. And after that, they go into hiding because once you're publicly celebrated, then go and fail at the same thing you were celebrated for causes a lot of shame. And this is why there's the phrase, if you live for their acceptance, you'll die by their rejection. It'll hurt so much more to know the reason you were placed on the pedestal you've lost that reason. So what are you valued for now?
Do you see any merit in someone who, for example, did um, go through that situation of being celebrated for something such as losing weight and now they've fluctuated? Um, is there any merit in them being transparent and being honest, even though people are going to rip them apart? But in showing that struggle and in sharing that story and taking us on the journey of the weight going up and down, is there any merit in that?
um, I think no. In my opinion, it's a sticky situation. When those type of things happen to you, it's a sticky situation, man. I'm telling you right now, the best thing you can do is take your wins in private.
Mm.
Because if things turn around and the pendulum swings the other way, there's nothing more embarrassing than everybody seeing the thing that you were celebrated for no longer being true. It's just an embarrassing feeling and it's very shameful and it's not good for your mental health. And that is why I feel with like being an influencer typically will actually destroy your identity. There's way too much room for comparison. Social media typically affects male and female body image, and it's you're an influencer, but what are you influencing, right? What are you truly influencing? You're influencing how perfect and polished and great you are. So, what does that do for others? It makes them say, "Oh, wow, I want to be like them." That's why they follow you because they want to be like you, right? So, what does that mean for your audience? It means a part of them aspires to be like you, which means indirectly they're comparing. They're comparing themselves to you. They see the gap between where you are and where they are, and they're
Hmm.
just striving to become something closer to what you are. Which technically, I don't think it's that healthy, especially in this generation where there is so much oversaturation of content. That's why I feel like we're at a stage now where having a natural body is actually more rare than having a fake body. I mean, people celebrate Megan Thee Stallion for not having surgery. Regina Carter got her boobs and her 360 lipo after a couple months ago saying she won't change anything. It's just so hard now to want to be natural when you're constantly bombarded by influence of perfection, influence of plastic makes perfect.
Hmm. This will definitely become a greater issue as the younger generation, these teenagers, um, grow up. We'll definitely see what are the long-term effects of how we engage with social media. Of course, there's already many, many studies about um, the psychological effects of the instant gratification and validation that people get from social media. But I
Mm-hmm.
think with this topic that we are discussing um, the connection that we have to people who have a great influence online. And I think that this will be very interesting, and there will be more people studying and analyzing what are the long-term effects of the so-called influencer.
Right? Are we doing too much to go viral and score influencer status? That's a question to ask not only yourself, but maybe your close friends around you. I think at this point of life, I think all of us know at least one friend who may be trying to score influencer status. So check up on them, see how their mental health is. It's definitely not easy out here trying to become someone of influence. And it breeds really toxic views on yourself, never feeling like you're enough,
Mhm,
wanting to be almost superhuman. And then once you become an influencer, being afraid of the downfall,
mhm. And
right?
I don't think that being an influencer only results in negative consequences. I think that if once you're participating in social media, you need to have an awareness of how it's affecting you. Um, I know that I had to take a break halfway through COVID because of the traumatic images that were consistently being shown to me, which are important, but I had to have an awareness that I needed to take a break. That was the middle of 2020. I need to take a break from social media. And so you have to have that awareness as a consumer. And those who have taken on an influencer role, they also need to assess their own mental health. But I do believe that it's not all negative for influencers. And you and I, there's a way in which we would want to be an influencer as well. We just have different motivations and different intentions and different goals with what we're doing. With what we're doing with our podcast, we're trying to build a community, we're trying to share information, and we're trying to be a voice that maybe doesn't get a lot of light or a lot of attention as first generation Canadians living in Toronto. There's a lot that we could share. And so I feel like being an influencer is not always the worst thing.
I think the goal of the podcast for me is simply to open the discussion, stimulate your mind, think about things you might never have thought about before. Reflection, self-reflection,
Yes.
perception possibly to be changed or altered. There's so much times that people don't have enough stimulating conversations. There's a lot of content on the internet that is mindless. So to engage someone's ability to think and engage with themselves is a huge motivating factor for why I do this with you.
Mm-hmm. We definitely want to hear your opinion. Please let us know what you think about influencers versus celebrities. And with these challenges, what does it mean to you? What do you think is the long-term consequences of those that participate in these challenges?
Mm-hmm.
No?
Yeah. Do you feel that social media negatively affects relationships? It's a common search on Google. It's a common conception that I hear from friends. What do you think? Let us know, and stay tuned for the next episode of Reasons for Rose. Lauren signing off.
And T-Bells is saying goodbye. Have a good week.